Welcome to the Versa Business Tips Podcast. I'm your host, founder and CEO of Versa Business Systems, Shaheen Mazloom. We're here with Joe Crisara today, founder and CEO of Service MVP. How you doing today, Joe?
Hey, Shaheen, how you doing there, man? I've been listening to your podcast, and I am a huge fan, so I feel like I got to pinch myself to be here with you, so thanks for inviting me here.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it. So, for those out there that don't know who you are and what Service MVP does, give us a quick rundown.
Well, Shaheen, there is a gap that exists in the universe today, and that is that the prices are increasing on the cost of doing business. Even though Versa tries to save people money, all the money you try to save, the prices still keep increasing, no matter how much you save. So to be able to keep up with the inflation of prices, it's a simple truth that people need to be able to communicate and price the services in a strategy that allows people to get more money for the amount of solution they provide. Make sense? So there's a cost that's increasing, but the prices and the revenue we collect has to keep up with that inflation and exceed it actually to make what's called a profit. If you still remember what a profit is, definitely it's hard. It's harder than ever to make a profit than it ever was. And we're here to make companies profitable.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's crazy that the amount of companies that just really aren't profitable, right? They're getting by, they're married to their business. It's nuts. So you guys are helping mostly service businesses, like contractors, landscaping. Give us some other examples of the types of clients you work with.
Well, I even help coffee shops. I mean, honestly, every kind of a business that's out there is a service, right?
Yeah,
Even if you're selling things,
sort of a service, right?
yeah, even if you're manufacturing something like, Versa is a great example of a service business,
Yeah,
right? So every business that does something to provide, even a car company has they manufacture cars, but in order to sell the car, it takes a service to have a facility, the popcorn, the
right.
service manager, the mechanics. So every business, no matter how much they think they are a manufacturer, still is providing a service to do that. So we just teach people who provide the service to take the product or service that is being created by a company and how to create value that goes beyond the price that they charge. So this way, the price sounds like something that's reasonable, and consumers are happy. Even if they paid more, they are still happy
Getting
with
more value, so they're happy with the price. But I tell people all the time, it's never the price. Price is not the issue, right?
Well, I mean,
Pay
if you
whatever.
ever gone to if you ever gone to a steakhouse and you see like they have Kobe beef filet mignon
Right.
and it costs $150 for a 6-ounce piece of meat, they're like, but people are happy with it, right?
Yeah.
There's a certain presentation that makes people happy with a $150 steak. Does that make sense?
100%. They're getting the value. They're getting a better tasting steak. They like it. It makes them feel good. Makes them feel important. All this stuff, right? Like when you're paying $1,000 for a piece of steak, you're not just buying the steak. You're buying the way they bring it out to you and how they put the salt on and you know what I mean? Like it's 100%. So you bring up a great point about value. Would you say that right now a lot of businesses are struggling with what the real meaning of value is?
I'd say more than ever. Let's put it this way. I'm not sure about you, but I was raised by my grandfather and a father who taught me how to present myself. They look somebody in the eye, shake hands, be confident, stand straight. I was raised that way, But in today's world, I think more than ever, there's a deficit of the parental structure, which has led to a deficit of value when people communicate. I see it more now than it ever has been in history, honestly.
Yeah, very true. So what would you say to those businesses out there that are like, I can't raise my prices. My competitors, it's always that my competitors would take all my business. I can't raise my prices. I've got the guy who cuts my grass. I love him to death because he's still charging me $40. I paid $40 10, 15 years ago to get my grass cut.
Yeah, I know that. Well, here's the key thing. You just said a key point there. Shaheen. So you're the caller of the show today. That's awesome. So here's the key point you hit. You can't do the same thing your competition's doing and charge a higher price than them. If you're doing the same service,
Right.
like even your lawn guy for $40, if he only does the same thing and raises the price to $60, then you become suspicious.
Problem,
if
right?
If he charges $80, you're like, wait a second, I'm going to find somebody else, right?
Yep.
But let's say he charged $60, but said once a year I'm going to do more service, like seal coat your driveway or power wash your sidewalk, or I'm going to. So he did something extra.
Yeah.
Clean your gutters or clean your windows.
The value.
He added more value, more service.
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, oh yeah, for $60 you're going to seal coat my driveway every year. Yeah, I'll pay $60. I'll shovel snow every whenever it snows. You pay me $75. Whenever it snows, you got to snow shovel your driveway too. Next thing you know, you're paying $80 and you're happy because you don't got to do the snow. You don't got to do the seal coating. You don't got to worry about it. Does that make sense? So adding more service is the thing that creates value, honestly. Make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Now, would you say the easiest way to scale a service-based business is dialing in that value and that higher price? Or is that kind of the start of it?
It's impossible to charge just one price, and that's all there is. So the strategy of pricing, if you charge one price, then you have to worry about, you're forcing yourself to worry about the competition.
Right.
If you do good, better, best pricing, you start with the cheapest thing, and then let's say your yard guy, $40 to do your yard,
good,
$60
better, best.
And 75.
Good, better, best. I heard that for the first time a couple weeks ago. I love that, right? If you have 3 different entry points, right? Some people would ask for the best and they don't care how much it costs, right? And it's good no matter what. Now, good, better, best, do you think every service business should have a price point?
Well, even better than that would be premium, mid-range, and economy, which would be the opposite of good, better, best. So good, better, best, people upgrade 40% of the time if you offer them good, better, best. If you offer them premium, mid-range, and economy, like at that steakhouse, the top of the menu has the filet mignon, then it's got the ribeye, then it's got the sirloin, then it's got chicken, then it's got pasta. So the dish that's the cheapest one is probably $36 or $24. The most expensive one is $150. When you offer the premium thing first, 80% of the people upgrade. So yes, every business that is offering a service should offer the premium service first, and then the mid-range, and then the economy. Make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, because everybody wants to always feel like they're getting a deal too, right? So if you start high and you go to your lower, but you also can't, people negotiate and drop price without dropping something on the service end. And I think that's the biggest mistake I see people make when it comes to pricing is if you're going to lower your price, you got to take something away because otherwise you got no value there.
The problem is they probably didn't offer enough stuff to take out of the price. So if you did like a luxury thing, like if you called me to power wash your house on the front of your house, I would also say we'll power wash the roof, the side of the house, and the back of the house, and the sidewalk. And I do all that, the premium option. Then I'd say the mid-range option, I'd just say, let me do the front and the back of the house only. And then the bottom option, just do the front of the house like you called me for. So, like if you had tires, like if you bought tires, you got a flat tire. The bottom option is fix the tire, just patch it. The premium option is buy 4 brand new tires, new brakes, suspension, and oil changes for 5 years, all the way down to only just to fix the tire for $59 at the bottom. So the top option is probably going to cost $5,000. The bottom one will be like, $89. Let people choose the one they want. So if you believe in freedom, Shaheen, the freedom to choose, then that's what we teach. We teach people how to have freedom of choose and how that economy, you're kind of creating your own economy so you don't have to participate in a bad economy.
Right, right. Now, some people say that giving options is a bad thing. You want to lead them to the one thing that you want. What do you say to those people? Right, like you hear both things, right? Hey, you need to give them options. That's just the world we live in. And then you hear people, well, if you give them options, they're going to need to think about it and consult with this person, that person, whatever.
Well, at some point in our life, we all choose different options. So when I was younger, I didn't have any money. I always went to the economy thing. That's all I could afford.
Right.
And then I became more successful. I started getting more mid-range stuff. Now that I'm successful, I always treat myself to the best stuff. Now, I can see a time in my future when I retire, I'll probably go back to the mid-range. So what I would say is that if it always stands out to us whenever we see something, like when you go to that restaurant again, and you see some people see $150 and go, man, must be a nice place. Let me do that one immediately. It doesn't take them any time, right? The average person takes 2.7 seconds. They found in studies. Harvard University did a study and found the average person takes 2.7 seconds as long as you label each option as premium, mid-range, or economy. Now, if you don't label the options properly, then it becomes confusing, right? Then it's like if they're all named the same thing,
right? And there's just different prices.
If I had the Shaheen VIP option, and then I had the professional option, then I had the economy option, you'd know the VIP option is the best one. It has your name, it has VIP. You know it's different than the economy. So in a way, we are doing that by labeling them different so people can self-select which one they want. It makes sense?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. That's great. So I own a service-based business, and I'm like, you know what? We know we could be doing better. We know we could grow. We know we could be doing more revenue. What am I gonna, what does that process look like when they come to service MVP? How does that process, am I just calling you, Joe, saying, hey, take a look at my business, tell me what to do, and writing you a check, or how does that process work?
Well, we have solutions that have options as well too, so as you can imagine, we do the same thing here. There's some options that, like, I have some clients. One client just last month spent $479,000 on me coming out to their place for 4 times a year, us doing coaching with their team, and then doing online stuff too. So we have online, and we have live in person. And then you can come to our place for seminars even, right? So we have a lot of different solutions that we put out there every time. We bundle and package the most premium thing, depending how big the company is. But I'd say, we have anything from what people want. If they want us to come to us, or if I want to come to them. If I go to you, it's more money than if you come to me. Right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're getting $100,000 to go to someone's office, man, hats off to you. I should be bowing down to you.
Well, I'm not making that much, but if you bundle it for 4 times a year, then if you do an online package, which we do at that everything. So basically, we have coaching options online. We have live stuff in person or at your place, and we have just self-guided. Or we even give away books like this book. I'm going to give a free audio book to all your listeners, so you can even get this for free. It doesn't cost anything. So, so I think you have to have different entry points, depending on where you're at. Like I have one business that called me this morning. It's a two-person company, and they just bought the book, and they bought like a free coaching thing from us for $2,400. That was it. They have another company bought $480,000 because they have 150 people in the company. And we have to go out to their place, right? So we have solutions that scale for any size. It's like we're like Versa. You guys got a bundle of different solutions you provide, and if you were to provide all the solutions at one time, and then say the mid one, just take away a solution. The bottom one, let's get started with this solution, and that's how it is. So we just try to find the right solution that fits the people personally. I think the personal attention to what people get makes it customized and relevant. Does that make sense, Shaheen?
Yeah, 100%. So you're you're more of the sales side, or are you working on operations as well?
Well, operations is part of sales because
Mhm.
if you sell something, if you're promising something,
Right.
it
You
better
gotta
be
sell
delivered,
it.
it better be delivered the way it was promised, right?
Yeah.
So I look at it like every part of the company is part of the sales or the
Yeah.
marketing and branding, the
Process.
sales, the way we answer the phone is sales, the delivering the product and making sure that it gets done right and keep the home or business clean
Yeah.
is sales. So in a way, we're all selling the company and the brand and honoring the brand. So I don't really think sales ever stops. In
Yeah.
my book, that's why I do think it's the most important part beyond brand.
Only part.
I think branding is number one. Branding is number one.
Yep.
But how do we market if we don't know what the experience is going to be like for clients? So if we describe, because what is marketing? It's describing the client experience that they get from us, which is the sales experience. That's
Yeah.
how we do it. So if you go to Starbucks, there's a sales experience. You think there's no sales, but there is. You got a menu with the different options.
Right.
You order your drink, and then making the drink and getting the drinks part of the sale.
Yep.
It's not different from the sale. Does that make sense, sir?
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. So you're focusing on the whole SOP of the sale from start to finish, and figuring out ways to price it accordingly, add value, and make sure that the pricing is compatible with the value that they're providing.
Yeah, it's like if you can get a 5-star review, but make sure your average sale is 3 to 5 times higher.
Right.
You've done it. You crossed the goal line. It's called a successful business, which is people paying you a premium price more than your competition because you're doing better service and you're creating a better experience than the competition is, and therefore people are happier with it and they're more than willing to pay the price. So I think the business becomes magnetic in a way, which is why I'm sure people work with Versa and why they work with Service MVP. They're attracted to people who know what they're doing. Does that make sense? And that's a key component there. So
100%, 100%. I was actually having this conversation the other day how people oftentimes are going to Google or Facebook to ask for certain things that they don't know about, right? And it's a dangerous thing if they're just going to the first thing that they see, right? Because a lot of the times it's not the right fit, right? Just because it's at the top of Google, it just means somebody paid to be there, right? They
yeah.
an ad or a sponsorship or whatever. So within your company, obviously you have a sales process that you help other companies input into their businesses. I'm assuming it's the same processes that you're using within your own company. Is that correct?
We are a product of the product. I call
Right.
it. I eat my own. I say I eat my own dog food. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, because people are watching me. If we sell something different than the way we teach it, people are going to think I'm a phony. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it worked, you'd be doing it. And you are obviously.
Right.
So when you're coming across these businesses, you're starting with a company. Is it? Are you generally finding that they've got to change everything, or is there usually some small tweaks that can be made to get the pricing in line with the value and really get things taken off?
Well, if you ever saw John Tapper or one of these guys who come in and remodel a business,
Yep.
that's pretty much what it's like.
Okay.
I had to go in, redefine the client experience.
Right.
The interesting thing is that, for your experience, I listening to your podcast, how you see people do things that are dysfunctional, and it's hard to understand why they do it that way. Most likely it was because their grandfather or father told them to do it that way. They just never changed. Does that make sense? Or it might be a family member who works there that we can't we can't work around that person. So just like when I do the restaurant show where you fix a restaurant, that's kind of what I do in business. I go in and try to. I'm not as harsh as John Tapper though. I'm more.
I think
I
he's
got
the only one that can act like that.
yeah. But what I do is I just go in there and find dysfunction, and
Yeah.
I remodel it to create a new client experience that makes employees happy, makes coworkers happy, and makes the client happy. That's what we're trying to do.
Right.
Make sense?
Absolutely, man. I love that. I love that.
I would say make it easy to do business for everybody. That's the idea behind it.
Oh,
Make sense?
100%. 100%. I can't remember what I was trying to pay for something about a week ago, and they made it so hard for you to try to pay. I'm like, if you just made it easy for your clients to pay you, you probably do a lot more business. People make things so
Right?
complicated now.
There's a lot of truth in that. A lot of truth in that for sure.
Yeah,
Without a
yeah.
doubt.
There's so many cool technology and all these different tools out there, and I think sometimes people get overboard and they make it complicated when it doesn't need to be. So it's yeah, it's a different. And how long have you been doing this, Joe?
I've been doing this since 2021 to the public, with the public. Before that, I ran my own service business from 1985 through 2001, so 16 years. And I turned around my own business. I was in major debt when I first started out, and I got out of debt by doing the things I teach.
Right.
And I turned around my own business. And then since then, I probably turned around, I think we figured about 33,000 businesses that were turned around by our services.
Wow, that's very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
because it changes lives. It changes lives when you're able to
Oh yeah.
change the way you feature the services and products together. A product without a service is really just something that sits there and it's dead.
Oh, 100%.
Service brings products to life, I always say.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you bring up a great point. It's people don't realize it unless they're in the industry of service and helping people and servicing people. You're not just helping the business and the business owner's family, but it's the employees and their families and their customers and there's so many people affected by everything that business does, not just the people within the business. And it's really cool to be a part of that, and really help people excel and exceed within their business, 'cause it changes everybody's lives that have any sort of connection to that business, whether it be the clients, the families, the whatever. So yeah, I definitely I share your passion with that.
Well, one thing I tell you is that if I could financially do this for free, I would do it for free because I love it so much. Honestly,
Yeah.
financially, I do have a lot of responsibilities, like everybody does,
Yeah,
and so there is an investment to doing business. But I
absolutely.
will tell you this: everybody who sells a service, the return on the investment has to be there, or else that business will
That's
not
the
be in
most
business.
important thing, right? Like if there's got to be a return on the investment. Like we had a guy earlier today, and he's like, "I want to borrow $50,000. We could do the deal," but I said, "Sir, you're telling me that this $50,000 is only going to bring you back 15% profit margin. You have a 550 credit score. You're going to pay more than 15% of this money. It doesn't make sense to do, right?"
Right.
It's like you said, it's got to make sense. The profitability has to be there, um, in order to one, have a happy client, but really in order for you to sell the deal, you shouldn't be selling a deal to somebody that isn't going to put them in a better situation, right?
Right. Exactly.
So tell me a little bit more about this book that you're giving to all of us.
Well, the book is called "What Should We Do?" It is an Amazon bestseller. We sold 54,000 copies on Amazon, so you can see all the reviews we have there. We have nothing but 5-star reviews. It's 480 pages, so it's a whole manifesto on how to create value. Whether you're in the service business or not, I think everybody is in the service business, but we are doing a thing to give away the book on Audible and audio.
Awesome.
So if people go to book.servicemvp.com, that's book.servicemvp.com, you can get a free copy of the book. It's inside the Service MVP app.
Awesome.
You'll get a log into the app, and you'll be able to get in there for free and listen to the 9-hour audio book
in the description. So that you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
it's a 9-hour audio book, and this is diving into everything, or is it certain parts of the sale? Or explain to me a little bit about what it
It
is.
takes it from start to finish,
Wow.
all the way from start to. It's not just the sale; it's the client experience, right?
Right.
But it does go over. What it really goes over, Shaheen, is a lot of mistakes I made when I was younger, and a
Right.
lot of the ways I succeeded now that I got older. So basically, the cool part of it is a lot of stories, right? Stories about how I screwed things up.
Right.
And I think a lot of people hear the ring of truth when
Yeah.
they read the book and listen to
Yeah.
the book. Is like, I screwed that up too. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The thing is with business, right? It's literally just failing until you get it right, right? It's funny because most people don't talk about the failures, right? They talk about the successes, but you can't get to the successes without the failures. And the nice thing for people like us is we have people like you and what we do, and there's all these people out there that have failed for us that we don't need to make those same mistakes because we can learn from those that made the mistakes for us.
I've already done it, so you don't have to.
Exactly, exactly. I love that. So that description, the link is in the description below. So grab your audio copy today. I'll be grabbing it as soon as we get done here. Um, Dude, what you've built. So 33,000 clients. I'm assuming. Do you work worldwide or nationwide?
Well, because of the initiative we have with it's worldwide. Because of the initiative we have with the book, and that came out last March. The book, so that's all. It's only been out for less than a year. Yeah, so only less than a year. So we envision, Shaheen, that we will have 1 million users in Service MVP in the next 3 years. That's what we look at it because we think that everybody needs to hear the audio. It's free, and we think it's going to go viral. It already has to a certain degree. I mean, 54,000 copies of a book that people bought
That's
is
pretty,
proof of that. Right?
yeah,
It's pretty
that's
good.
pretty big. Yeah, my first book, you said yours was 400 pages. My first book, I think's like I don't know, 90, 100, something like that. Oh no, not even 48. 48. Number one bestseller on Amazon. But it's like people don't realize how big of a deal that is, right? Like to get people to buy a book, especially was that your first book?
The first legitimate, I made one that was on Amazon, but it was self-published. This one we did have somebody helping us publish it and
Okay.
promoting it like that. So we did
Do
we
you
did put a lot
recommend
of money behind it.
doing that? Because I self published the first one too, and I mean it's
Yeah,
still
the same thing. Same thing. It was the first one was good too. I got one that's 140 pages, but I kind of had to put it together myself. Just like any kind of a service, when I hired somebody to write the book for me and the format of the book and the promotional aspect of the book and the publicity, there's no way I could have done any of this stuff. It would have taken me 10 years to
right.
do what they did in about 6 months. So it was an investment, though. But the
Yeah,
investment, I'll put it this way: whatever we paid to make that book, which was a lot, we returned the investment by over 15 times already in the year we did it. So it's
great.
definitely worth it. So just like any service, you invest in the service, you
Yeah,
expect a compound return on investment. And although I would recommend it for you because you're a professional and you're well known, and if you did hire a professional to take on a project like that,
yeah,
it's probably going to cost you six figures, low six figures, but it probably will pay back seven figures, high seven figures. Does that make sense? So
yeah,
that'll be
yeah.
what you get out of it.
Sounds like it's well worth it. I've been thinking about writing my second book recently and contemplating using a company to do the promotion and the
If
uh,
you need a referral, I have just the person who's
yeah,
excellent at it. So
yeah,
she's
definitely.
great. She's the one who helped me with it. She wrote a lot of other books too that are very famous. So she's very affordable actually. So she
Awesome.
can handle it for you.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I'd love her information. Yeah, that's something I want to get done here in the next few weeks. And it's funny you say your goal is 1 million clients in the next 3 years, right?
I want 1 million people that are in our platform.
Right.
Probably about probably about 60% of them paying us something and 40% free.
Right. But a
So
million in your community that's learning from.
yeah, that's why I get a million people in our community. And the more people we get, the less money it costs everybody.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Love that. Love it, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're well on your way to hitting that. I can't wait to see it. We'll have to have you back in 2 years and see where you're tracking to that goal.
Yeah, we'll see if that dream came true. Of course, with
They
really
usually
amazing
do
people.
with hard work.
Well, with amazing people like you by my side, I can't go wrong. Even if I don't hit my goal, I still win anyway because I have you by my side. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Joe. Thank you very much, dude. It's been great talking to you. I'm gonna need to reach out to you because we definitely need some help with our pricing and how things are structured. It's sales is my forte, but that part of the sale, pricing and presentation and stuff like that is I'm a talker, right?
I think a lot of people who are good salespeople have a blind spot to how much it could cost and different things like that. It's just a blind spot, right? You probably are, a lot of times you're going to hear like, I already knew that. I just don't know why I didn't do something about it. Right? So it's like that.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Shaheen. It was really a pleasure talking to you. Honestly, thanks for taking it. It's a great questions and a great interview. I really appreciate you asking those great questions.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate your time, brother.